Everyone, it's Lainey. Welcome back. This is going to be part 3 of my Christmas craft videos. Let's just go ahead and dive in. Here we have iron-on in 3 different colors, and I'm making a shirt. You will see it here in a moment what I am making. This will give it away right here. But I created this in Cricut Design Space. I downloaded the font from dafont.com, and then I found this image just as a Google search and downloaded it to Cricut and cut it out. So yes, we're making a Grinch shirt. I changed the colors to a light green and pink instead of a darker green and a red. But I did this so I didn't have to purchase a design. But I did find a ton of designs that you could purchase from Etsy. But, you know, I just wanted to do it myself. So the font is called Grinch, and I typed that in when I was searching for it in dafont.com, downloaded that and installed it. And then, like I just said, you know, I found this image on Google. And it's perfectly fine to use an image like this from Google because I'm not selling it. This is not going to be for commercial use. This is just for my personal t-shirt. So no laws broken there. Alrighty, so here is the times. I absolutely love the Grinch. Obviously grew up watching the cartoon version, and then when Jim Carrey came out with the live version, that is my all-time favorite now. I watch it every year. But one thing that I absolutely love, and it just makes me chuckle, is his schedule when he's in his den, so to speak, and he's contemplating on whether he wants to, you know, go down to Whoville for Christmas. He's saying, you know, all the things that he has to do, and one of the things that he says, it's like, have dinner with myself, can't cancel that again. It's just cracks me up. It's so funny. He did an amazing job as the Grinch. So, almost done with the times here. And the this black iron-on is just from Amazon. It's just an inexpensive roll. It's my first time using it. And this pink and green came from a boho pack on Amazon. And I will link everything down below if you're interested. I really liked this boho pack, the colors that it came with. I'm really unsure of this pink, but I wanted it to be pink instead of red. And all of the pinks that I have were just not, it wasn't the vibe that I wanted, but this paired better with this green out of the colors that I had. So just working with what I have, and we'll see. This is just going to be a oversized pajama shirt. You know, wear it with pajama pants or leggings. Okay, so we've got my day, the times. Let's see. Oh, this goes to the bottom. And after I'm done weeding all of this out, I'm just going to piece it together on the shirt and iron it with our press. And hopefully it turns out as it should. Fingers crossed. I've been wanting this shirt for ages. Finally got around to doing it. So what do you think about this green and this pink together? The pink kind of has a purple undertone. The shirt that I'm going to be ironing this onto is gray. So I think it'll be okay. Okay, so I have everything weeded out. We need to turn on our heat press. And let me look at the Cricut heat guide once more. 315 for 30 seconds. Our shirt is 100% cotton. All right, so let's let that heat up. I'm gonna bring in my shirt and we're gonna prep our shirt for our iron on. I've just gotta pick these up off my glass mat and move them aside. Coming in with my heat mat here, I'm going to put it on top of my glass mat. And here is my oversized shirt. This is from Joann's, I believe, and they were on sale. It's that Gildan brand. Go ahead and come in with my lint roller. I need to remove this layer. I will link this down below. And I ended up having to purchase one with refills because I had to make 57 hoodies for my husband's job, and they were so linty, so I was going through rolls like crazy. And I'm so glad I ordered this. This is from Beth Adilli's channel, and it's awesome. It's definitely worth the investment. Like I said, I will link it down below with the refills. The exact one I purchased, I'll link down below. I only have one refill left too, because I've just, like I said, I've been using it like crazy. The heat press is still heating up, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it in and heat up my surface real quick. And while that continues to heat up, I'm going to bring in my design, and we're just going to place it down in parts and try to get this set up the best that I can here. So let me move my mat down. This is going to have to be pressed 2 different times, but I want everything laid down as it should be. Okay, so I'm going to take my scissors here, and I'm going to cut this carrier sheet off so we can nestle the Grinch in place. I almost ran into that Y. These scissors are quite sharp. Okay, I'm just cutting this stuff off too, just in case. Alrighty. And let's cut some of the excess from him as well. Alrighty. So I'm thinking about the alignment here and how I created this in Design Space. I want the time aligned with this here. And let me come in with a ruler. This is actually a typography ruler. It's really neat. When you're creating designs online, you'll be able to really see what size they will be, you know, in person. So let's see here. It's kind of crooked. I'm just going to have to trim some of this stuff down because it is sticking to each other and it is not helping me out. It is okay for the carrier sheet to overlap. You just don't want the vinyl and the carrier sheet to interact with each other, because then that iron-on is obviously not going to be able to get ironed down. It's going to be ironed onto the carrier sheet itself. So I'm just trimming stuff down so I can be sure that every part of the iron-on is actually touching the shirt. All right, so this is the permanent placement for my day, the time, and the main part of the schedule, essentially. So I'm going to come in with my heat press, start at the top, and it says for 30 seconds and firm pressure. So I'm just going to put some muscle into this and get this part pressed down. And then I will reset the timer and shift it down to iron on this extra down here. I'm going to move my mat here. I'm going to turn my shirt over onto my glass mat. to speed up the cooling down process because this is all a cool peel. And it really draws that heat out super fast. Green is so faint on that gray. But, okay, so let's see here. Monitoring the iron-on. That was awesome. Man, I almost messed up there. That is super close to each other. Whew, man. Okay. Removing this carrier sheet as well. And that needs a little more heat. Let's come up from the other side. Yeah. So that 630 was kind of in the middle. That it just really didn't get the heat that it needed. Okay. I'm probably going to bring in my mini press and heat up just little areas that need it. So I'm going to bring in my mini press. I'm going to turn it on to medium, which is 2 wavy lines. Let this heat up and just go over this area for about 10 to 15 seconds. And then remove the carrier sheet again. This adhered so well. And that is that boho pack. I really like it. I love that pink. It looks great with that gray, with the gray shirt. Alright, so the mini press is heated up, and I'm just going to go back over these little areas here with constant movement. And it is directly on my glass mat, but I'm not going to apply too much heat there. Okay, so let's go back to the 630. Okay. Just kind of monitoring some of this. Alrighty, so let's put this back on the platform and let that cool down once again. I'm just going to repeat that process and turn this over so it can cool down fast. Super quick. These glass mats are for card making, but my gosh, it has been a game changer for me and my Cricut crafts. I do paper crafting as well, but I didn't buy it for that. I bought it for vinyl crafts to protect my desk, and I love it when you have a larger project of vinyl and it's obviously in a roll. You can magnetize it down and it really helps, like cutting your vinyl and weeding it. They are high in price, but I think it's 100% worth it. So let's bring in our mat again, get everything situated. And align our Grinch. Got to move this over a bit. Man, I should have chose a darker green. It is so light. But if you recreate this, you know that you can create it in Design Space, download the font, find this on Google, and change the vinyl to whatever colors you want. You can do the traditional brighter green and red if you want. I was contemplating actually doing glitter, and I don't know, I just really wanted pink this year. So, and I say this year because I'm always in buffalo plaid, red and black, so I just wanted to change it up. Trimming this down so I can get this closer to the schedule. And this is going to be, I want this more centered within the shirt, but I don't want this to go too far to the right. let's see here. I gotta remove the mat. It's messing me up. So maybe I need to move this over, because I want the end of this to be aligned with this side of the Grinch, so everything is visually appealing, and alignment is very important for that. Okay, so bringing in my ruler once more. So let's see if we can move him a bit. Like I said, we just want this side to be aligned. I'm gonna probably have to tape this down. Let me get some heat tape. And now I'm just going to tape this down in place, because that is where it needs to stay. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Grinch. And I'm going to bring in some of the carrier sheets and put it over this vinyl here just to protect it. Okay, and bring in our heat press once more, and we are going to do 315 degrees for 30 seconds, trying to avoid the iron-on vinyl that's already been adhered. All right, so I'm going to move the shirt up, and now I'm going to align my heat press mat for the bottom portion here. I'm going to remove this carrier sheet from this area and place it down to protect the text here. And let's repeat the process. So let's test out the Grinch once more. Okay. So this is a new vinyl. I will link it down below for you to look at, but I haven't used it before, haven't washed it before, so I'm not sure of the, how long it's going to wear or how it's going to do in the wash and dryer and things like that. Everything turned out good other than this. And that was me. That must have just been a mishap visually that I just wasn't aware of. Okay, and that's our shirt. I really like it. The green needs to be darker, but the colors work really well together, and it does look good with the gray. You can see it better in person than on camera, but there we go. Our first craft, just an oversized lounge shirt for the house that is festive and one of my favorite scenes of a movie. So while we have all the heat going, it is getting hot in here, let's bring in another iron-on craft so we can get these irons turned off. We have a Cricut infusible ink wine bag that I'm going to use iron-on for. Let's see. Because I want it to be glitter. I feel like glitter is more festive for this time of year. Let the weeding process begin. This I may incorporate, I'm not sure. It says cheers. And I found this in Cricut Design Space and cut it out in 3 separate colors. This is going to be a gift. Okay. See, this green and this red, that's what I was contemplating on using for the Grinch shirt. But I thought it would just be too much glitter, and I didn't have enough of green or red and darker colors for it. So I would just had to try to think outside the box and go softer, but that green is just a bit too soft for that gray shirt. Lesson learned. Okay. And I know that I think there's a little piece in here. Yeah. Let's see. mess it up. I do not have the design pulled up. Trying to see here. Okay. Just folding it a bit to help me see the cut lines. And it's got a couple stars that I'm trying to find. Okay. There we go for the other one. Okay. Yep. There we go. So we've got our wine glass. Let's get our berries. And it's got a little, oh no, little center pieces here. These materials are an Amazon glitter variety pack. I'll link below. I've used it a lot. I keep saying variety pack, but I just wanted to order stuff like that from Amazon to test out, and this glitter iron-on is phenomenal. Actually, the gold is scissor, but the green and the red here are from that variety pack. Like, look how beautiful that green is. Stunning. Okay. So we've got our design cut out. Let's bring in the mat. And I need to try to get this wrinkle out. I'm bringing in my heat press mat, or my heat press, and just trying to work out that wrinkle the best that I can. It doesn't have to be 100% gone, but I want it to look more flush. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And also heating the surface to prep our material. Coming in with the lint roller real fast. Making sure that surface is ready for this glitter iron-on. And let's tighten this up for our wine bottle. And let's bring the design down a bit so it doesn't get lost in those curves of the material. Let me weed out this real fast and see if we're going to use this. This was not part of the design. I just looked in Design Space. I typed in cheers in the search bar and looked through different designs that they had or font styles, and this one paired well with it, but I just didn't know if it was gonna fit. So I want to get this weeded out real quick so I can place it down, because I was thinking that the cheers would go underneath, and if I am going to use this, I need to make sure that I have room down at the bottom for it. Yeah, I think I'm going to use it. We'll do that last. So we'll just keep it in place. Okay. Letting our heat press know that we are still here. Okay. Now bringing in our berries. Let's lay these down in place, and then bringing in our greenery here. Is that how that goes, or is it supposed to be like this? I can't recall. Actually, you know what? I think it's supposed to be like that. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to iron these two pieces, cool it down, and then bring in the other elements, and then iron that down probably with the mini press. All right. Everything's aligned. I'm going to come in with my large heat press on 315 for 30 seconds. Let's add some pressure here and get this iron down. Alrighty. Same routine. Let this cool down. And it is even hot to the touch. While that's cooling down, I'm going to do a little mid-craft cleanup here. Let's test out. That was wonderful. Okay, removing this part. wonderful. So I'm going to keep these carrier sheets aside because we're going to need them. No, maybe not. Okay. So now bringing in my mini press, and I'm just going to focus on the greenery here. Firm pressure for 25 seconds, and I need to, let's just go ahead and bring this in because I'm going to add a little too much heat and pressure. I don't want to mess up my glass mat. Okay. All right, and let that cool and bring in our cheers. And just align that with the wine glass. And this is in glitter as well, if you're not able to tell. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make that permanent as well. Avoiding that bottom portion of that wine glass in gold. Okay, I think it's ready to be lifted up. Yep. All right, let's check our awesome. Oh my gosh. I love the glitter. It's not too much. You know, some people may think it's overboard, but it's festive. It's colorful. It's fitting. It's a wine glass or a wine bottle holder. I'm going to put a wine bottle in it, and it has a wine glass on it. It says cheers. I think that this is perfect. Cricut Design Space, just cut it out in different colors. Found the cheers in Design Space as well. These are two separate designs, but all put together in Design Space. All right, guys, craft number 2. We've got one other craft for this video because this is a quick 3 craft video, but I think you're really gonna like the next craft. It's a little different. All right, I've done this before, but my channel is new, so I know a lot of you have not seen this, and we are going to do a little bit of wood burning. We cut our stencil. Ooh, I almost messed up. We cut our stencil with the Cricut machine, and we're going to do some reverse weeding here. This is from Design Space as well. And I just use a permanent vinyl. This is 405 Basics, which is a Hobby Lobby brand. And once I get this weeded out, you'll be able to see a bit better on what this says. And I prefer to use vinyl instead of these stencils because the stencils just really isn't thick enough. I feel like it doesn't stick enough either to a surface, and it allows the product that I'm using to seep underneath the vinyl itself, and then if that's the case, it's not gonna look good. So I do not like the stencil material. Okay, just using my mat here to stick these little pieces onto it. So it says, give us this day our daily bread, Matthew 6:11. This is a gift. I made the first part of their gift in my part 2 Christmas crafts, and it was the 3 coffee mugs that we used with the mug press. And this is the other part of, the other part of their gift. Let's see. There we go. And it's a mom and 2 daughters, and she likes to host as much as she can, and she makes homemade bread, and I thought that this board here would be perfect for that. And then I was looking through Design Space. I wanted something faith-based, and then I came across this, and I just thought that it was perfect. Just finish weighting this up. All right, we have our design reverse weeded, and I need to bring in some transfer tape here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Alrighty. And it doesn't need to be that big, so I'm going to cut it down just to save, yeah. Well, we need that margin. Let me think. Let me think. Just going to cut it down a hair. Hair more. This can just be for something small. Alrighty. So, same thing, going to, if I can get it picked up, there we go. We have our design reverse weeded, have our transfer tape, lay this down, and bring in my scraper tool and really varnish this down. And we covered the most of it, just a little bit's not covered, it seems, but we are going to place this entire piece onto our wood board here, our serving board. And we need extra white space to protect the wood. And you will see here in a minute, it'll all make sense. So I need to pick up the entire piece. There we go. Just removing the carrier sheet. And there are some little pieces there in the letters that need to stay. So monitoring that, helping it as it needs it. Oh, like that piece right there. Come on. Making sure there's no little pieces on the backer. There's not. So we are going to put the design down at the bottom. Line this the best that I can. And I'm not wasting vinyl because this is a protective margin, basically. I actually need more up at the top there. I'm going to have to be careful. Let's see. Because we're going to use this torch paste, and you don't want this torch paste on any part of the wood that you do not want to burn. So really pressing that down. Let's bring in our scraper. We want this adhered really, really well because we do not want that torch paste to seep underneath this vinyl. We want these letters to be crisp and clean, legible. So this is the most important aspect of this craft. This torch paste is woman made, and I found it on Amazon. It's really neat to go to her page on Amazon and read about this torch paste, but it's great to support another woman that is a crafter like all of us. So, okay, let's remove the transfer. Let's kind of fold this down. Well, remove the transfer tape and then hold this so it stays down. This transfer tape is very sticky, goodness gracious. And we've got to be careful and monitor those little pieces again because this transfer tape is so sticky. I probably should have used a lighter tack transfer tape. A note for next time. This is way too sticky. Goodness sakes. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back and I'll make sure that everything is where it needs to be because some of the parts of the letters were picked up. And now I'm going to come in with that backer and really scrape down and make sure that that vinyl is stuck down, because it was pulling the vinyl up when I was removing that transfer tape. And the carrier sheet here is just protecting our vinyl. So, torch paste, the original wood burning paste, the easy way to wood burn. So what it says is do the stencil, create your stencil, and we are going to use a paintbrush, and it says let dry for 2 to 3 minutes, remove the stencil, and then apply heat. And what does it say? Does it say it needs a thin layer? Let's see. Yeah, it says a thin layer and remove excess paste. So I'm just going to come in with an inexpensive paintbrush. Craft Smart, this is from Michael's. And just go over the stencil here, filling in those blank spots and being very careful in this area because I don't want to touch this part of the wood because I don't want that burned. The important thing here is just to make sure each wood part that you want burned comes into contact with the paste, obviously. So I'm just making sure of that. And we've got some extra here now that I'm just going to put back in the jar. It says you can use a squeegee, and it would probably save a lot more of this paste, but I just have the paintbrush and I've used it multiple times doing this and using it for the glass etching cream as well, and it works good. But one thing is they want, you know, it's better to remove the excess because we've got to take this off, and when we're taking our stencil off, we want to make sure that we're not spreading the heat paste in areas in which it doesn't belong. So that is why it says remove the excess. Alrighty, so I'm going to let that sit for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll bring in our heat gun and remove our stencil. I've got to go wash my hands because I got a little on my finger, and I'm going to go ahead and wash out my paintbrush. I'll be right back. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes. Going to remove the stencil. Okay, I'm sorry. The camera did something. I didn't realize I wasn't recording, but I carefully removed the stencil, the vinyl, with a weeding tool and a napkin. And now I'm going to bring in my heat gun and heat this up, and you'll be able to watch it transform. And the more heat, the darker the burn is going to get. So just, you know, apply as much heat as you want, just based on the look that you're going for. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on. It has a low and a high heat. I'm going to turn it on high and let it heat up, and then, you know, just start heating up the paste with constant movement. You'll be able to see it change. Just be patient. It's really cool. Okay, so I think that is as dark as I want it. It's not all going to be that dark. It has some lighter areas, but I think it'll look really neat like that. It does have some charred areas. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's okay. I ran the heat gun for a few minutes, and I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to let this completely cool down, and once it's cooled, I'm going to take to the sink and rinse it off, scrub off those little charred marks. And I say scrub, but it literally they wipe off. And then I'll show you how it looks when it's done. But super easy and quick. You just need this paste and the heat gun, because if you're watching this video, you've already got a Cricut. So the reveal will be momentarily. Alright, had some technical difficulties. I'm not sure what was recorded and what wasn't. But this is it. These are the quick crafts that I did today. This is the Grinch schedule shirt. I love it. The green is just too light, as you can see. So if you recreate this, just make sure that it can stand out a little more than this. But I really, really love the colors regardless. I think they paired really well together. And then we've got our wine bag here. And I added the little cheers. I love all this glitter. So vibrant. And then lastly, the wood burning. So this board was from Aldi. I got it on clearance for less than $2. And I applied a little too much heat at the D. At the end of the D here, that's actually part of the wood board itself. It's one of the knots. But as you can see here, it's a gradient from the light to dark. So you can have it lighter like this, or you can keep adding heat and you can make it, you know, dark like the D there. All right, and that's it for the crafts. Be sure to check the description box below for all the details. I will add links for everything that I used today, and I will also put some other Christmas craft videos down in the description box as well, because like I said at the beginning, this is the third video for Christmas so far. Alrighty, so part 3 is done. I'll see you in a couple days for the next video, guys. Happy holidays. Bye.